Good morning, everyone. It's Monday, April 12th. From the San Antonio Express News, my name is Luis Vasquez, and this is your Express Briefing. All of the stories you need to know to start your day. You can expect mostly cloudy skies with a high of 90 degrees in San Antonio today. You can expect cooler weather with higher rain chances as the week progresses. Over the weekend, San Antonio kids who have a parent in prison got to learn from former Dallas Cowboys and college stars at a one-day football camp. Read more about the event organized by Prison Fellowship over at expressnews.com. And now let's move on to our top stories for the day. The city of San Antonio's $75 million job retraining program for people thrown out of work during the pandemic is off to a slow start. Since its September launch, Train for Jobs SA has helped 124 area residents land new jobs. But experts and city officials say the program is just getting started. So far, nearly 6,300 people have expressed interest in the program, but the numbers trail off quickly from there, according to statistics from the city's Economic Development Department. Brandon Lingo takes a look at what officials have learned from the program in his latest story. Low vaccination rates in counties that are wider and more conservative could be impairing Texas's ability to quickly reach herd immunity for COVID-19. Texas counties that are less educated, wider, and where former President Donald Trump won a larger than average share of the vote have vaccinated a smaller share of their population than the state average, according to a Hearst newspaper analysis. In the 144 Texas counties that meet these criteria, about 29.4% of people aged 16 and older have received at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. Statewide, the average is 33%. If residents in those counties were vaccinated at the same rate as the state average, more than 100,000 additional Texans would have received at least one dose. Take a closer look at the issue over at expressnews.com. Allegations of abuse and neglect of migrant children at the Freeman Coliseum shelter raised this week by Governor Greg Abbott stemmed from complaints of sexual acting out by teenage boys at the facility, as well as the bullying of children who may have been homosexual, according to state officials. The new details were provided in a memo sent to Abbott's office by associate commissioners at the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services and the Health and Human Services Commission. Eric M. and Jose A., two migrants who were 17 when they journeyed from Central America, said the only problem they encountered at the Freeman Coliseum was not enough time to play soccer. The two were released Thursday from the Emergency Migrant Children's Shelter after they turned 18. Jacob Beltran has an account of their life in the Coliseum over at expressnews.com. A candidate for Kirby mayor pleaded guilty in 2018 to a reduced misdemeanor charge of sexual contact without consent in a plea deal stemming from a case 5 years earlier at a hotel in Fort Collins, Colorado. 37-year-old Chris Garza was sentenced to 1 year in prison and required to register as a sex offender in Colorado. But he was released for time served after 34 days and isn't required to register in Texas because there's no similar offense here. The hotly contested race for mayor in this tightly knit northeast side suburb has coffee shop talk and social media postings running wild with rumors. But more than 100 pages of court and police documents obtained through record requests provide the unvarnished details. Staff writer Jeff Flynn has those details over at expressnews.com. San Antonio's convention business, a key driver of the downtown hospitality industry's performance, dried up last year as the virus spread and meeting planners pulled out of events at the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center. But as the pandemic wanes and more people receive vaccinations to inoculate them against the virus, city officials have recently seen an uptick in requests to book conventions and gatherings at the convention center. Read more from the mayor's State of the City address over at expressnews.com. Next up are your need-to-know headlines. You can find all of these headlines and more inside of your Express News subscription. As lawsuits mount against CPS Energy over deaths and damage stemming from February's winter storm, the San Antonio utility is giving a peek into how it will defend itself, blaming acts of God, ERCOT, and the parties suing the utility. Weeks after CPS Energy sued 16 energy companies, alleging price gouging during February's winter storm, legal experts say the utility's chances of victory in court are slim. We have what it could mean for customers' future rates over at expressnews.com. A San Antonio police officer who struck and tased a suspect is charged with assault and abuse of authority, a rare instance of an officer being criminally prosecuted for on-duty use of force. Lawyers defending the Air Force in the Sutherland Springs trial said the gunman lied on federal forms by denying he was prohibited from buying firearms, including the assault-style rifle he used to kill 26 people at the First Baptist Church in 2017. Key issues in the May 1st race for the open seat in San Antonio City Council District 5 are post-pandemic economic recovery, affordable housing, education, public safety, and infrastructure. Take a look at the candidates that want to succeed Councilman Shirley Gonzalez over at expressnews.com. Road rage may have led to the shooting death of a 38-year-old woman and injury to a 14-year-old girl on the northeast side over the weekend, according to SAPD. Huntley Park Baptist Church on the east side was destroyed by a fire on Friday night. We hate to see the building burned, but we know the Lord will take care of us, said Reverend Johnny Guyton. On the new plan to reimagine the Alamo grounds, the Express News editorial board writes, quote, "There's much to like in this plan and an invaluable lesson. Compromise can be a source of strength." While Texas has long opposed opening its grid to avoid federal oversight and ostensibly keep prices low, energy experts say the calculus is not what it once was and that the benefits of connecting to the outside world are at least worth examining, especially as renewable energy is poised for a major expansion. In a rare sentencing enhancement allowed for hate crimes, a Kendall County man received a 45-year prison term for knifing a black man in the face and threatening to rape the children of the Hispanic officer who arrested him. Because of delays in census data, Texas lawmakers are pushing legislation to move the state's March 1st, 2022 primary back to April 5th or as late as May 24th. Southside ISD and the University of the Incarnate Word partnered on a COVID-19 vaccine clinic where their students got experience preparing and administering shots, answering questions, and moving people from all walks of life through the process. During the coronavirus pandemic, Dr. Peter Hotez has become one of the country's most trusted explainers of science. In our Q&A, he talks about the concerns around the B.1.1.7 variant and why we'll be pretty damn close to normal by summer. It blows my mind that in 2021, the right to vote is under attack, the Voting Rights Act is in danger of being eviscerated, and our democracy threatened, writes columnist Kerry Clack. You can read his latest column over at expressnews.com. For 28-year-old Claudia Yoli Ferla, politics is no game. She doesn't view elections as horse races, but as opportunities to achieve social justice, writes Gilbert Garcia. Today, Ferla will take over as executive director of Move Texas, the San Antonio-based grassroots organization devoted to engaging and mobilizing young people. As two migrant boys turned 18 and were released from San Antonio's Freeman Coliseum, Texas Governor Greg Abbott made explosive, overstated allegations of sexual assault. Elena Ayala has more in her latest column. This Week in History on April 15, 2019, people all over the world, including in San Antonio, watched as the iconic Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris, France burned. Nearly 500 firefighters battled the fire for 5 hours. Although the structure was saved, it suffered extensive damage. You can read more about the Notre Dame tragedy over at expressnews.com. On entering Natural Bridge Wildlife Ranch, visitors are given a guidebook featuring the animals they're about to see. It's decidedly low-key in keeping with the philosophy of the Sochting family. The experience is rooted in Trudy and Raymond Sochting's desire to allow visitors to see animals on their property in a natural setting and appreciate the beauty of the ranch with its rolling hills, creek beds, and live oaks. We talked to Tiffany Sochting, the park's marketing director and an animal care specialist, about the ranch and how the pandemic has affected the business. Check out the Q&A over at expressnews.com. Shops that make their own bagels are rare enough. Food trucks that make their own bagels are unicorns. On this week's 52 Weeks of Food Truck series, you could meet Wild Barley, a trailer making Montreal-style wood-fired bagels plus bread and pizza. Is it time to pull the plug and replace freeze-damaged sago palms and citrus trees? Calvin Finch has the answer. And in his Down-to-Earth column, Neil Sperry addresses palm trees, Japanese blueberry plants, and other readers' questions. Judson's Kira Sanderlin has been selected as the 2020-2021 Express News Girls Basketball Player of the Year. We have a full list of the honorees, including all area teams, over on our website. In his first comment since returning to the court last week after missing 9 games in a row because of a sore right wrist, the Spurs' Lonnie Walker IV revealed the injury has plagued him for most of the season. And that's all for today. This was your Express Briefing for Monday, April 12th. My name is Luis Vasquez. Please consider becoming an Express News subscriber to get in-depth coverage on all the stories you heard today. Also, be sure to rate and review this podcast inside of your Apple Podcast app, as it really helps the show. Have a wonderful day, everyone.